Question number 2, the clarity question. Do I clearly see my dream? Do I clearly see my dream? One of my friends is Mike Hyatt, who is the CEO of the publishing company I just talked to you about, Thomas Nelson. And Mike and I and a few others were in Ireland a couple years ago playing golf for a few days, and I was writing this book. And so one morning, Mike and I, because he loves books and he's an author, and he, of course, is the CEO of a publishing company, we got up real early and went into this wonderful area of the hotel where we were staying and by the fireplace, and we talked the subject of dream, and I was laying out the questions. And as I was laying out the questions, he said, John, he said, the clarity question. He said, I think that's the most important of the 10. Now, as I give you these questions, you're going to say, well, I think this is the most important. And what you're going to find out is they're all important. But he said, the clarity question, he says, I think is most important. And in your notes, I have what he said. If you have a clear vision, you will eventually attract the right strategy. If you don't have a clear vision, no strategy will save you. So let me give you some clarity comments. Number 1, a clear dream makes a general idea very specific. Ben Stein said, the indispensable first step in getting the things you want out of life is this: decide what you want. It's that simple. And deciding what you want requires you to be specific and make your goals measurable. For example, take a look at these vague notions put into more specific form, like a general idea. I want to lose weight. That's just a general idea. But a specific goal would be I will weigh 185 pounds by June 1. I need to treat my employees better. That's a very general idea. Specific way is I will honor someone at every Monday staff meeting. Or a general idea, I want to get out of debt. Well, I will pay off all my card balances by December 31st. Okay, you're getting the idea. I don't need to go through this whole list. You already know, but you've got to go from a general idea to a specific idea. When I wrote the book, Winning with People, when I wrote that book, people came out and they said, boy, it really helps me. But do you have any ways that I could win with people? And literally that was the reason I wrote 25 Ways to Win with People. It was just, you know what it was? It was taking winning with people that is a good, wonderful principle and a general idea to 25 ways to do it. And that's exactly what I'm talking to you about your dream. You've got to get clear, because when you're clear, you get specific. Number 2, a clear dream doesn't become clear without effort. And for me, this whole process begins with questions I ask myself. The dream is always rooted in the dreamer, in his or her experiences, circumstances, talents, and opportunities. So here are the questions I ask myself. This is from my exercise. This is how I've done it for years. This might help you. Here are the questions. What am I feeling? In other words, what are my emotions telling me? What am I sensing? What is my intuition telling me? What am I seeing? What is happening around me? What am I hearing? What are others saying? And what am I thinking? What do my intellect and common sense say? These are questions you want to ask yourself to come to that clarity that you want for your dream. Number 3, a clear dream affirms your purpose. In my effort to clarify my dream, I discovered that the more clearly I saw my dream, the more clearly I was able to see my purpose. Makes sense, doesn't it? And number 4, a clear dream determines your priorities. Once you get the dream clear, once you get the priorities set, everything else becomes so much more clear, and you feel much more motivated to get it. Just about a year ago, I had a little arrhythmia issue with my heart, and so I went to my cardiologist, who's a very good friend, and so he put me in the hospital for a couple of days and to get everything back in rhythm. And I knew that he would come and see me in the hospital that first day, and I, being a leader, I knew I needed to kind of get ahead of him on the weight issue. And you don't wait for people. So when he came in, his name's Chauncey Crandall, and I said, Chauncey, I said, I know that I need to kind of manage my weight. And he smiled, and he said, no, he said, you don't need to manage your weight. And for a moment, I felt real good. I thought, I'm okay. He said, John, listen to me very carefully. He said, you're fat. You're fat. He said, fat people don't manage their weight. He said, if you're fat, you lose your weight. And then he said, guess what? When you get done losing your weight, then we'll manage your weight. But first of all, we're going to lose it, and then we're going to manage it. And I just cracked up. I just cracked up at myself. And well, you know what he was doing? He was bringing clarity. Yeah, he was real clear. John, you're fat. So I made a laminated card. I gave it to him, and it said, I can hardly wait to lose my weight so I can manage it. It got real clear. Nothing general, nothing vague, nothing subjective. In fact, in my briefcase that I have in the hotel room here, I have a folder that's just a personal file of a lot of my personal stuff in it. And on the outside, I have this cartoon. And it's a doctor that's talking to his patient. And he says, what fits your busy schedule better? Exercising 1 hour a day or being dead 24 hours a day? Yeah. Yeah. Lay it out for me. What do you think is best? Okay. I got the clear picture. In 1981, I went to San Diego, California to pastor Skyline Wesleyan Church. And the church had plateaued and for 8 years had not experienced growth. Here I come to town. Here I come to be the new pastor. And in my first board meeting, I'll never forget, there were 18 board members, and I passed out 3x5 cards. And I said, I want you on this 3x5 card in one sentence to tell me, what's the purpose of this church? Collected the 18 cards, and I had 17 different answers from the leaders of the congregation. No wonder the church was plateaued. They weren't clear on why they were here, or they weren't clear on what they had to do. The clarity question helps us to begin to understand that a fuzzy dream or a fuzzy idea makes a lot of fuzzy actions and behavior.